Happy New Year. Thank you all for coming to this regularly scheduled meeting of January 12th. As you can see, we are not all here. Judge Luce and Commissioner Waller are at conference, or probably on their way home today or sometime this week. Anyway, for the record, David Lynch, Precinct 3 Commissioner, is presiding over this meeting. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. Item number 2, which is discuss and take possible action on approval of payroll number 1 for the period ending January 6th, 2023.
I move to approve payroll number 1.
And I'll second that.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 3, discuss and take possible action on approval of personal action forms.
There's a stack of them.
Okay.
The first one is resignation of Bianca Schroeder, DA's office. Second was new hire, Gilbert Valdez, Sergeant Investigator, DA's office. Chris Schuhart, retirement. Keith Lutz, moved to county judge. Rachel Ramirez, increase within SWAT, auditor's office. Lynn House, retirement. Phyllis Lane, new judge, JP1. And that is Phyllis, just so you know, it has an S on it. Yeah, we went all around, changed everything, went back, changed it again, and changed it again, so. Armando Silva moved from custodian to maintenance as approved through the Commissioners Court on the 15th. Brandon Beltran, an amended salary. Eduardo Gonzalez, increase within approved slot. Sierra Harris, dismissal. Jacob Moreno, deputy, moved from purchase officer to deputy. Maria Perez, increase in slot. Brianna Ramos, increase in slot. Marco Reyes, new hire, deputy. Silvano Cervantes, increase in slot. Mitch Molina, same, increase in slot. William Quinlan, resignation. The next one, need a correction on the name. It should be Laurel J. Ortega. Resignation. Kimberly Rainwater, resignation, local notice for PDO. Jerry Beck, retirement. Daniel Waller, Commissioner Precinct 4.
I move to approve action so question.
And I'll second that.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4, discuss and take possible action on approval of budget amendments.
Yeah.
No budget amendments. Number 5, line item transfers.
Yes, we have 2. One's for Divine Buildings and Grounds for one of the PAPs that went through for Armando Silva, moving a total of $10,695 from non-departmental into Divine Buildings and Grounds. And then we have one for the Sheriff's Office forfeiture, moving $2,000 out of waste and into contracts.
I move to approve line item transfers.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. County Auditor Monthly Report, number 6.
Yes, so this is as of the beginning of January 1. Graph will show you where we were at a year ago. Today, we were at 18.86, and today we're at the beginning of January, we're at right over $20 million. And again, this excludes the CO and any cash that we have available. Page 3 has a breakdown of all the funds and the beginning of December cash versus the beginning of January cash. If you have any questions on that, I can answer them for you. And the last page is the debt service for the county. The bottom portion of that last page is are the loans that you 3 precinct commissioners have borrowed from the 10, which will begin paying in March.
Has anybody heard, is there being money transfers for tax money yet?
Yeah.
Nothing going on there?
Next week.
Next week?
December's money.
We got some in
Got
December.
some.
We got some.
A little bit, yeah.
I believe we got at the bank account. We did get deposited a large amount, but it hasn't been distributed down to the fund level. It's coming.
You don't make it that page bigger. Ain't got my glasses on.
Jennifer, any way we can print these landscape graph and the back page? Okay. I send them that way, landscape. You know, some of us need glasses.
Saving money, that's a good job. You saving money.
The graph is colored.
The graphic line is the back page. It's been
No other questions, we'll move on to item number 7. Thank you, Edward. Discuss and take possible action on approval of accounts payable.
Yes, grand total of $2,158,596.85. And on the over $2,000 checks on the cover page, as well as the wire page, we will be making.
Who was Rocky Mountain Communication Systems? Is that a new one?
Rocky Mountain?
I can't hear.
No, that's the radios for the sheriff's office. That's where they get some of the outfitting for the vehicles. And just to FYI, that first item on that first sheet, the Tahoes, we're paying for 6 Tahoes out of the 9 that we ordered back in October 2021. 2 years ago. We still have 8 that are on order, and we budgeted 6, I believe, for this fiscal year. So there's 8 that are still pending to be received.
So we're still going to be able to do it.
Yes, we just got them, we got these mid-December, I believe, these 6 that we're getting. And then we also got emergency management vehicle, which we ordered last summer.
Make a motion that we approve accounts payable with the exception of Fund Number 53 on page 19, which is the sheriff's forfeiture account.
I'm going to second that.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 8, discuss and take possible action on approval of disbursement of funds since the last Commissioners Court meeting.
Utilities paid in the total of $19,599.70.
Make a motion to approve the funds as usual.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9, discuss and take possible action on approval of revised investment report for 3rd and 4th quarters of fiscal year 2022.
Yes, I've been going back and checking my work from last year because last year was kind of a bad year for me. And I found that I had added in some extra money to the money market deposit account that's not there on the 3rd and 4th quarter of last year. So I've revised that we got to look at and reapprove.
Okay. How are we doing investment-wise? Much better than last year?
It's better than last year. I'm getting ready to move money to the tax pool prime. Their interest rate is at about 4.5% right now. And the best we can get at the bank is a lot lower than that. Plus your money's not tied up. I can move it day by day with no penalties.
That's what we were at.
So as soon as the tax money comes in, I'll be getting with the office to get your approval on moving it.
Any handicap comments
at that point in time.
at that point? I have to say, well, you're in this week, when I got in office, got that less than $150,000 in road bank. Don't know if every account had an account. I've done all things over years. They have a mirror for that.
Make a motion, we approve the Rice Commission report for third and fourth quarter.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 10, discuss and take possible action on approval of official bond and oath for the following elected officials. And I'm not going to read them all, they're from you.
I want to make a motion that we approve the official bond and oath of all the listed elected officials.
A motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. And number 11, discuss and take possible action on approval of continuation of official bond and oath for the following elected officials. I believe the difference here is this Mark Davey and Mr. Shearhart were appointed in the middle of the term. If that's correct. I'm not sure about Cindy's Fowler's, if that's,
She had to search out for her own bond when she
Okay.
was first elected, and so she just continues.
continue that,
Yeah.
her own bond, okay.
I'll only make that a motion to approve the continuation of official bond and oath of the following elected officials as listed.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item number 12, the acknowledgement of Melissa Luke's tax assessor collector continuing education hours for January 1st through December 31st, 2022.
I'll make a motion that we accept the continuing education.
Motion
Even
is
though
second.
our motion is just an acknowledgement.
Correct. So we will acknowledge it without even. Those are public comments. Okay. Mr. Finger? Are you wanting to speak on a particular item?
Skyview.
Okay, minutes, would you want to do that now, or would you like to wait until that agenda item comes up?
Wait till it comes up.
Until it comes up, and Frederick Learish,
Same item.
same item, okay? We will hold off on that until the agenda item, number 17. No other public comments, then we will adjourn this portion of the meeting and reconvene at 10 o'clock. Attention, we're going to reconvene our regularly scheduled meeting at 10 o'clock. Again, for the record, we are a little bit short this morning. Our newly elected county judge is not with us, and our newly elected commissioner in precinct 4, they're both at a conference. So we are muddling through with what we have left. So I'm going to go ahead and, for these kiddos that are here, probably chomping at the bit to get back to school, we're going to go ahead and take care of item number 14 and realign some of these agenda items. But we're going to proceed with number 14, 4-H members with Star Awards, and recognize some of our kids that took part or placed in the district fall roundup contest. So we have some folks from our extension service here that are going to make these presentations with a little assistance from us, I believe.
Okay. Let's come over here.
Why don't y'all stand up this direction and face the audience so they can see who's getting awards.
Perfect.
Do we need to be covering that?
So good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Titsworth. I'm the Medina County Extension Agent for Agricultural and Natural Resources. We're here today to recognize 4-H members that participated at the Fall Roundup, which was November 29th through December 1st in Kerrville. Just to give you a little bit of background on the Fall Roundup, that is the District 10 Fall Contest. This is where juniors and intermediates go to compete at the highest level that they can. Seniors have the chance to qualify for state roundup in summer there in College Station. They competed against 21 other counties in this district, so the ones that are standing out here, as well as some of the ones that couldn't make it, have done a fantastic job. I'm going to go ahead and start off and recognize our Horse Quiz Bowl team. They got 3rd place. This team was composed of Jessica Johnson, Evelyn McAwee, and Tegan Rutledge. I will turn it over to Elise, and she'll read it on for FCH.
And then we had quite a few individuals and teams compete in the food nutrition project where they're able to showcase all the skills that they've learned. We had junior teams, which is 3rd through 5th grade in Rio Medina. They placed 3rd. Kaylin Buckaloo, Lista Higgins, Hannah Birdie, and Allie Claiborne. We also had a 2nd place team, which is at the Castroville Club, Grayson Krieger, Ryder Habe, Tessie Robertson, and Camden DeCock. And then we also had intermediate teams. We had a 3rd place team for Food Challenge, which was Campbell Barron, Austin Higgins, Amelia Hitzfelder, and Meg Claiborne for Rio Medina. And then 2nd place Food Challenge, Ava Lowe, Islet Royce, Lauren Scott, and Ashlyn Stube. And then we had 2 individuals compete in the food show that placed. They both had 4th place, Lauren Scott and Campbell Barron.
Okay, and then I'm going to go over our educational presentations in the senior category. In this category, if they place 3rd and above, they qualify for state roundup, which is the state contest held there in College Station again. So we had one individual that spoke in the health and wellness category. That was Julie Guzman. She got 5th place. Qualifying for state, we had the team of Johnny Guzman and Claire Bain in the safety and injury prevention. They had 3rd place. In the safety and injury prevention, same category, we had Connor Habe and Bray Robertson. They got 2nd place. And in 1st place in their category of animal science, we had Miranda Grubb and Yancey Parson. So these 3 groups of kids will be going out to represent Medina County there on the state level in College Station. So that's a pretty big deal, and we're awfully proud of them.
And then, lastly, we have Star Awards. So Star Awards are given to 4-H youth. They demonstrate their accountability and responsibility towards their project areas. We have 2 juniors that are receiving the Bronze Star. So this is 3rd through 5th grade. We have Lacey Stubing and Ryder Habe.
Turn around, the commissioners may.
Can we get a picture of this whole group first? And then we'll hand out these Star Awards. If y'all want to slide down to your right a little bit and kind of get centered so that all the folks can get pictures that they need. And move back in. Once you slid to the right, slide back to the left. Come in here a little closer.
Younger and shorter ones kind of kneel down.
At least we don't have a height problem.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, they'll kind of fill in.
Act like you'll know each other.
Can you cook? And I know you're probably not in the right order, but you've got your awards or whatever, so. And then the 2 sponsors, I think we.
Yes. Taryn and Elise, y'all come on up, please.
You're not gonna get out of the picture. People, this is what it's all about. This is the whole reason this committee over here. Right here, you know, the future.
Thanks, all. Thank you to Taryn and Elise for y'all's hard work with this
They're
group.
doing this. Right, you know.
Good job, Ken.
Thanks, all. Thank you to Taryn and Elise for y'all's hard work. Thank y'all. We're going to continue on with a public comment from Ms. Hasty, our pretrial services coordinator.
I don't think Miss Cindy Billibo made it, but I just wanted to kind of bring it to everybody's attention that we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary with between Medina County Pretrial Services and the South Texas Life Skills. Miss Cindy Billibo, she donates her time, energy, and education to Medina County and largely to the Pretrial Services Office and other criminal justice agencies throughout our county, along with probation. She does all of our AA, our NA. She does parenting classes for us. She does battering intervention for us. She does all of it free of charge. She doesn't charge the county anything. We pay her absolutely nothing. The defendants pay absolutely nothing for these services. Without her and without South Texas Life Skills, it'd be very difficult for our criminal defendants who have been charged with different offenses to get treatment that they need. So we are very appreciative for Ms. Cindy Billibo and South Texas Life Skills for being here, and for Commissioners Court and Judge Shuhart at the time to allow her to use our training room there at Probation and Pretrial Services to do those classes. She also utilizes the church out there in Divine to take it to the people, which is greatly appreciated as well. Again, without that, it'd be very difficult for the people in Medina County to get the treatment and services that they're needed. It's all done on donations, largely out of Divine, to be quite honest. So again, it's been 5 years. I've been here 5 years next month, and Ms. Billibo started with us right after that, and it's been a great team effort to help things out for Medina County. So I just wanted to do that. I also wanted to invite everyone to come out to our office tomorrow. We're going to be celebrating that because it is a big deal for us. We wouldn't be able to help as many people through our office if it wasn't for Ms. Billibo. So we're going to have a little celebration from 11:30 to 12:30 tomorrow. Just have cake and water, and some of the graduates from her programs will be there as well. So if y'all would like to come and go deal from 11:30 to 12:30 at our office from 781 Avenue Y. So anybody that would like to come through, we'd like to invite you to. So.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Darcy.
Thanks.
Okay, we've got a couple of other people that want to make public comment, but it's pertaining to item number 16. So I'm just going to ask Mr. Alvoit and Mr. Crawford if y'all want to speak now or wait one item and speak during that item, that agenda item.
Whatever the court's pleasure is, Your Honor.
Well, I tell you what, let's get number 15 behind us, and then we'll let y'all speak on number 16.
Sure. Thank you.
Number 15 is a public hearing concerning a petition requesting creation of Megan's Landing Public Improvement District. Do we have anybody to speak on that? Okay. Introduce yourself, please. And
My name is Lauren Ferrero. I work with McCall, Parkhurst, and Horton, and I work with Clay Binford, who I think the court is very familiar with. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a microphone? My name is Lauren Ferrero. Can you hear me now? Okay. I work with McCall, Parkhurst, and Horton. We represent the county in a number of matters, this being one of them. Today's hearing is a statutory requirement. This particular pit is going to be similar to the Pratenka Ranch pit that we've previously approved before. We're going to open the hearing for public comment, and anyone who has any commentary related to the pit is free to speak and give their opinion on this particular development.
Okay, so I didn't open the public hearing, which is now open at 10:13. Anybody else wish to speak on this matter?
But this is the Megan Landing, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I want to just interject just a little bit on this thing. This has been an ongoing project, and it has really involved a lot of different principals and entities. We got together with the sewer treatment facilities. Tim's been with me on most of all these meetings, or all of them. The developer has chimed in to help facilitate this. Yancey Water has chimed in to help facilitate this. What this pit has done, we will have in Medina County one of the largest recycling irrigation water systems probably in the state of Texas. So everybody wants to bash a pit or see what they do and what they don't do. I want to show you what a real pit, working with all the entities, can do. And I thank Lauren for coming here to give this presentation. What Medina County is going to accomplish out of this at the end. We're in the worst water crisis that we seem to be, according to Medina Lake. I looked at it last week. And this will save probably generally close to 60% of the water. 60% of the water goes on in your house, goes on the yard. And this is going to be 100% recycled water on the majority of the yards, majority of all the entranceways going in. You know, when the developers come to Medina County, we're here to work with you to help you give the best product for Medina County. So I thank everybody involved.
Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, then we will close the public hearing at 10:16. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Item number 16 is a public hearing also to receive comment regarding revised private road 1505 in Holiday Villages of Medina, Laguna de Medina, section G. Mr. Alvoy, if you'd like to speak.
Sure.
We've got rules for public comment, 3 minutes. There generally is no interaction between the court and the speaker.
Thank you, Commissioner. I represent Texas Holiday Villages. Understand this is a comment hearing. And our purpose for being here today is just to try to set the expectations for the court and request that the final plat, the approval be set on the Commissioners Court agenda at the very next available day. We expect that you're going to hear today some complaints about the private roads, their construction. Just want to make sure that the court notes that those roads have been inspected both by independent third parties and by the county. They have passed that inspection. There are some concerns about the water issues regarding the roadway and the bar ditch. Want to make sure that the Commissioners Court understands that Texas Holiday Villages has entered into an agreement with the Homeowners Association that Texas Holiday Villages is going to guarantee that road for the next 10 years. So we think that addresses both the water concerns. They did put in a culvert at lots 26 and 27, I believe, 25 and 26, to deal with the potential water runoff coming in from the south before it makes it to the ravine. They have also entered into an agreement with the Homeowners Association. We suspect or expect that you're going to hear some concerns from someone today about that there should be a guardrail at a certain stretch of the new roadway. Texas Holiday Villages has agreed with the homeowners association that they're going to put a post and cable guardrail along that stretch of the road, which should address any kind of concerns that anybody has regarding the safety of that stretch of the roadway. Other than that, we just wanted to take this opportunity to make sure that the Commissioners Court knows that Texas Holiday Villages is certainly being responsible and dealing with the legitimate concerns that are out there. Having said that, we understand that you can't please everybody all the time, but we have an agreement with the homeowners association that satisfies them and addresses the merits. So in closing, we just request that the final plat approval be set on the Commissioners Court agenda as soon as possible. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Elwood. Mr. Crawford, you also wish to speak.
Thank you, gentlemen. Tom Crawford. I live in Holiday Villages, Medina. I physically walk this land. I'd like to support 100% the Chapmans and what they're doing. One of the biggest concerns, especially here in the last few months with the problems we're having in Texas, is security. This undeveloped land in the back corner of our neighborhood is wide open. By putting these 1 acre lots as opposed to quarter acre lots, we're gonna have people physically living there. The homes that they've already demonstrated put in there bring property values up. We get HOA dues, plus the county receives property dues. It's undeveloped land as it stands out. Aesthetically, it blends right in nature. It's a beautiful area. Instead of the quarter acre lots, we're only putting 1 acre lots in. I think it's 10 or 12, the last one. So the footprint and demand on infrastructure is going to be reduced if they had stayed with the plan as the county approved quarter acre lots. So we're reducing that. That road is the best in the entire neighborhood, period. It's wonderful. They've done a wonderful job. Mr. Chapman himself has been upfront with us at all times, offered information. They volunteered to help financially and support public services down there, and it's been open the entire time. I've talked to 17 neighbors personally, and without exception, everyone supports this. It's a nice addition. We're all going to improve not only the county, but the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Anybody else wish to speak on this item? Yes, sir. Could you come up and introduce yourself, please?
Yes. I'm Paul Wade, and I bought out there in 2006. It was a gated community, it's supposed to be secure. It only can be secure as secure is. But when we bought out there was a game fence on the north side of us, a game fence on the south side, and the lake on one side, and on G, which they've developed since, was like a quarter mile probably of woods and whatever. Since they opened that up, they've opened up access to Old Castroville Road. So now people can come in and out of Castroville Road. And I asked them to put a fence up, and they said they didn't have to. That's a concern to me as far as I bought for security. He said they put 1 acre lots in. They took what was said about 1 acre lots, and they've cut them to barely over a quarter acre lots. So they've reduced the size of lots. From my understanding in reading state law and the county law, the Edwards Aquifer goes down from there to the Medina-Bandera County line. That puts us in the Edwards Aquifer zone, recharge zone. In the Aquifer recharge zone, minimum size lots, average lot is 1 acre. The minimum size of a lot is 34,560 feet. And there's at least 6, maybe 7 lots in there that they've replatted that are nowhere near that. So they are not meeting the standards of Medina County subdivision restrictions and TCEQ restrictions. They may say, well, we're grandfathered in. Way I understand grandfather laws from anywhere I've looked at is grandfathered in as is. Once you make a change in there, the grandfather goes away. If I buy a house, it's wired in 1960. If I remodel that house, then I have to upgrade that, whether it's a hot water heater or whatever. The same should hold true in trying to hold the standards of the county up. If we let this go by, it sets the precedence that you can have any size you want. Because there's a lot in there that's not big enough to put a double wide on. And I think, and Commissioner has agreed to look at all this, but I want the rest of you to hear it too. They paint a pretty picture of what they will do for you, as long as it don't cost them. If it costs them something, shame on you. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Okay, this is not an action item, and so we will close the public hearing at 10:25. I apologize, I didn't give you an opening public hearing, but you can put it at the same time we closed the previous one, so.
10:17.
I have one question.
Okay.
Is this gonna be a private road subdivision?
Right.
It is.
Forever?
Yeah.
Okay, then, like I say, you got access off of another road on the outside of it, that's not through private. Is there ways you all can take care of that coming in? Because I know the Castro Road they're talking about. I've been up there, I think, twice. And I love y'all subdivision. I think I asked him the other day if he wants to sell a lot, he ain't called me back yet. I would like to own a lot up there.
We want to get plan approval first.
But anyhow, like I say, if it's gonna be a private, there needed to be a way to keep it private.
Put up a fence.
Someone needs to put up a fence. If that's just one of the issues, it sounds like you are having.
And Commissioner, if we understood what Mr. Wade's concerns were, that has been fenced off, that area he's talking about. So there is no access there.
Okay.
When we would go and look at the construction work, we came in the construction entrance that they had there, and it was open. So, well, that'd be another thing that we'll take a look at.
Do I need to comment on what he just said?
Yep.
If you want to make another comment, you may.
Got one more corner over there, sounds like it might not be through.
The fence they put up, there's a little bit of barbed wire on posts that you just go through. It wouldn't even be approved by the ACC in the community to put that fence on my lot.
Yes, Mr. Crawford.
Yes, sir. The fence he's talking about is over 50 years old. It's old barbed wire fence. Volunteer veterans and HOA were trying to clear it up with support from Mr. Chapman. We're going to put a new fence up. The reason they took that fence down was to bring all the heavy equipment in and not put traffic on our roads which are deteriorating. He's offered to help the fence. 2 landowners gave a cease and desist order. That fence, as of last night, was back up. It's in the same state as all the rest of Castroville Road. He's been trying to work with us, but 1 or 2 neighbors didn't want it.
I trust that Mr. Newman is on top of this, and we can continue this at another time instead of a public comment during this portion.
We'll take the fence out and everything else.
Okay. We're going to move on to item number 17, which is discuss and take possible action on preliminary approval of Skyview Ranch subdivision located in precinct 3 off of FM 1796. We've got 2 folks that would like to speak on this issue. Frederick Garish, first, please, if you would.
Okay, my name's Frederick Garish.
There's one of the main concerns with the big subdivision going in is, as he's talked earlier, we're having a lot of water issues, and he's trying to talk about reclamation and recycling deals and stuff. My water well in 5 years has gone down 50 foot, and I'm right across the fence from their development. Another neighbor of mine is right across the fence on another side, and his has basically gone down 10 foot a year for the last 15 years. Now, I don't know if y'all have any rules or regulations for these developers out in the county, but there's lots of states and counties passing rules and regulations on water, reclamation, recycling. Some of them go as far as to say you have to put the same amount of water each year back into the aquifer as you're taking out. You have to prove to us that you have 75 to 100 years worth of water available for this development without depleting all the water resources. And with our wells going down this fast so quickly already, it really worries us and all the adjoining neighbors about what we're going to do. We've all had to re-drill our wells in the last 5 years. Terra Medina is there. Most of those people have had to re-drill their wells. Most of our wells are at 450 feet. They're all either dry and had to be re-drilled, or they're almost dry and are going to have to be re-drilled. And the Edwards Aquifer out there, from what I understand, is not like the Edwards Aquifer in San Antonio. We're on the very end edge of it, and we don't have the water capacity there that everybody else has, and that's one reason our water is going down so quickly out there. So that's a very deep concern for a lot of the people. And there would have been a lot more people here about this, but a lot of people didn't know about this meeting to begin with, and a couple of people had car breakdowns and other medical emergencies and couldn't come. So there's not just 2 or 3 of us that are concerned about this issue. All of the people out there in general are concerned about it. Another thing is, we're talking about a 2,800 acre development, and I know they could have cut it down in smaller lots, and thankfully they didn't, but still, you're talking 220 lots. If you have a husband, a wife, and a kid driving, that's another 600 and something people on this little farm market road, which can't handle the traffic that it has on it now. We've had 6 accidents out there in 2 months just after TxDOT came in and put some gravel down. And for some reason, it's funny that with the development coming in, TxDOT finally went out there and did something to the road, but they didn't do it the last 15 or 20 years. So that's a funny coincidence. But there's lots of different concerns. The hunting, people are going to be hunting on 10 acres. I've had people say, you know, we're going to buy 10 acres over there so we can hunt on it because it's cheaper than paying for a hunting lease. I had one guy say he's going to buy 40 acres in the back so he can start trapping all the animals in the area and hauling them off to his other high fence ranches. Just all kinds of stuff. We've had all kinds of break-ins. You're going to have so many more people coming out there now, and the developer in his own rules and regulations on here, and his declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions. And the second paragraph, it looks like, he says he has the rules and regulations for the development. In the third paragraph following that, he says, as a developer, at any time during this process, I have the right to change any of the rules or regulations that I deem necessary for any of these tracts of land or lots available. So, you know, just because he's telling somebody right now that you have all these rules and regulations to follow doesn't mean that he's not going to turn around in a few months when he can't sell the lots and start taking some of the rules and regulations off for some of these other people. And I know they're talking about a high-end development right now, but there's so many of these developers that come in and talk about this is going to be a high-end development. You guys should be happy that we're putting this in your neighborhood. It starts out that way. They don't follow through with what they're planning to begin with. They end up shortchanging and cutting corners and doing all kinds of stuff. You end up getting the bad elements in there, and whether it's a high-end development or now, this all goes in a circle. This high-end development later on is going to be a low-end development at some time. And I mean, it's gotten to the point already, just with the few people that are out there now, I can't have my UPS or FedEx delivered. I have to have them go all the way to the house, or I have to go meet them somewhere and pick it up. I had to get mailboxes in town. Somebody's been stealing all of our mail off of there, off of the rural roads and stuff. And, you know, when you're talking another 600 people, and I'm sure some of these people moving in are good people, But eventually, even good people have kids that get on drugs and get in trouble. Those kids start looking for ways to supplement their habits. They start stealing more stuff. You have people that decide, well, I'm hunting on 10 acres, maybe I'll hunt on 2,800, or they start poaching. We've had that in the neighborhood too. So you're just multiplying this by 200 more families, or 220 families, whatever it comes out to. And just, I don't feel secure, you know, having this, letting my family drive on this road as it is hardly. I'm sure not going to feel safe having my family drive on this road when there's 200 and something more families. And because of this, a lot of people from that area that used to come to Hondo and D'Hanis and do business, we started turning and going the other direction, and now we go to Utopia and Sabinow and Uvalde to do business. So this isn't actually just going to bring business in, you're actually driving people away from Hondo and D'Hanis and stuff too. So there's lots of points, but I hear y'all have more meetings, so I won't bother you with a lot more of it at this point. So
Thank you. Mr. Finger.
My name is Joe Finger, native to D'Hanis. My problem with this subdivision, a lot about what Freddie said, water issues. I can't drill another well. One, because mine's already at the bottom of the table. If my well dries, and it's dropped about probably roughly on average 10 feet every year, my well is gonna dry. Anybody in my area, they're probably just as out of luck as I am. That being a big concern, as far as reclamation, I do what I can to do a rainwater catch system and all that to try to help with that problem. And it would be nice to have those regulations as far as for a developer to have that as well, especially if they're gonna be having a big irrigation well at the front to supply a 20 or 30,000 gallon water tank. My other problem is the traffic on the road. My turn, where I come out of my property, I've had people that consistently drive 45 miles an hour down 1796. You know how fast they're going, and you can sit there and watch. My kids get on the bus right there. I've had people come up out of that slough around that corner doing 80 plus. You get 200 more vehicles going up and down that road on a daily basis, 2 to 3 times a day, that don't follow speed limits, because there is no enforcement on 1796. Y'all can say there is, but there ain't. I've lived out there for 20 plus years. There is no speed enforcement. You're gonna get somebody killed by putting that many more people on that road when it's not meant to handle the traffic it currently has. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Mr. Finger. Okay, anybody else to speak on this? Dan Mullins is here representing the developer.
Good morning. My name's Dan Mullins. I'm here to represent the developer on this. One thing I appreciate you guys coming up and saying what your worries are. Some of these things we've tried to take care of. When it comes to water usage, one of the biggest issues out there is when you have a community, the biggest user of it is going to be landscaping. That's always the worst, and I believe in those restrictions that you got from our sales office. You can see in there that we restrict the landscaping. We typically, we do it everywhere else we've done here. We limit it to 5,000 square feet of irrigation. So on a 10-acre tract, nobody's going to come out there and try to sod the whole thing. If anybody's dumb enough to do that, they're not going to be allowed to. It's 5,000 square feet. Rainwater catchment is allowed in the restrictions. Let's see, I wrote down some of the other worries that Frederick had. Worried that it starts high end and it ends up low end. I think everybody who's been in any one of our communities, and particularly the ones here in Medina County, will agree that everything we've done has been high end, from Summit Ridge to Caney Creek Reserve, as well as the ones we've done in other surrounding counties. That's really all I can address on what they said. And then really I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have on the land plan that we submitted to you.
Got the plat. Plat from you. And this is phase one of a proposed six phases, 5 phases. Looks like. All the lots are more than 10 acres, which was mentioned that they could have gone down to 4 acres and made this a much more densely populated area.
So do you foresee on this one, as we saw on Summit Ridge and Cane Creek, where we had people coming and buying 4 or 5 lots? I know Cane Creek were 25 acres and up, and we had multiple people coming by 100 acres, 200 acres out of there.
Yes, there will be, this will be just like all the other communities that we've developed. And I could name any one of our communities, and there's a lot of people that come in. If they're 5-acre tracts, they buy 2 of them or 3 of them. If they're 10-acre tracts, they buy 2 of them or 3 of them. There will be a lot of people that buy multiple lots out here.
$5.
That wasn't a phone call.
In the pot.
That's a time.
No credit card.
One thing I do want to mention here is that these roads will be private roads, and so the county's not going to be asked to maintain these. These will be maintained by the Property Owners Association.
I've asked Mr. Mullins to work directly with Alan Stanton at Westwood, which is an engineering firm that they're not on retainer, however they represent the county in a lot of different areas, just to make sure that our water situation, that they're meeting the things that we agreed upon as far as test wells and the water capacity out there. So I'm going to, otherwise they're following our regs, good or bad, and I think most of it is good.
When do you see getting the report back from Adam?
I do not know, but I'm going to approve this or make a motion we approve this pending a positive response from Mr. Stanton.
And this is
From who?
Alan Stanton with Westwood
Okay.
Engineering, specifically concerning the water issues and the testing that y'all have done.
Yes.
So that's my motion, that we approve the preliminary approval pending a response or positive response from Mr. Stanton.
So just for y'all, if the report comes back from the engineering firm saying that this isn't working, that's dead in the water. Just that way y'all wrote that's yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Garrett.
Well, one thing he didn't address, how if they're gonna do any reclamation or water saving issues. And us as landowners there, for him forever and me for the last 15 years, we can attest it's dropping 10 feet a 10 feet a year. And a lot of these engineers are getting paid by these developers and stuff, so they want their reports to look good also for this stuff.
No, we're paying for
These
this.
engineers are being paid by the
Maybe we
developer.
need to get the water aquifer board involved in their meter readings and all that other stuff in there too. And so, another thing I had a concern was, we were talking about traffic. The way they have their lots set up, you're gonna have 25 or 30 lots along the front of 1796 there, and a lot of these 25 or 30 lots are gonna wanna be zipping in right on 1796.
Well, they would have to get textile. They would have to get textile approval for a gravel.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is a lot of this property he's developing is on some bad corners, and when you start having 25 or 30 lots along there, with a hill and a straightaway where you can't see what's going on, you're gonna have a lot more chance of accidents and stuff, so.
And then are those lots there have access to your private road?
The ones that only front on the highway, that do not front on the private road, will access onto the highway. And it will all have to be approved by TxDOT.
One more thing, you mentioned the lots buying 100 acres to 200 acres. Even if he sells one that's 100 acres, there's nothing to keep that guy from selling it in 10-acre tracts later. So we're still back to the same deal of him developing in 10-acre tracts, or me buying it and then I turn it into 10-acre tracts later myself, so.
Typically what they do is when they buy multiple lots, they will replat them.
But there's nothing to keep them from doing it. The
Until they
same-
replat it, until they replat it. No, you're right. Once they buy it from us, if they buy 10 lots from us, they have the right to sell 10 lots.
But wait a minute, once that comes up to here at Commissioner Court, once they buy a lot from him in that subdivision and want to divide that lot out again, that is a subdivision. It's not going to pass through the Commissioner Court. I agree with you. I can see your point exactly. I'm facing the same thing where I live. We got a developer here. He has never worked in my district, but he has worked all over Medina County. And all I can assure you, and I do got some recommendations for this to help out your problem, because I believe like you, all these lots going out on a state highway, by state law, they're gonna make them 400 feet apart. They probably are, but it's a traffic issue. I'll come to that in a minute. This is just my recommendation. By law, he puts this thing up in front of us. If we can't see any holes in it, by law, we got 30 days to okay or say no, or he goes on about his business within the subdivision. Or we can do what we're doing here and try to come to some type of consensus. I am a water nut. I save every drop of water I possibly can, and if I can't do it in my power with these subdivisions, we have subdivisions, we got 350 acres, 600 houses on it. That's what I'm dealing with where I'm at. I got 275 acres, dead center in the middle of all this. I want to move out where you're at. That is where I want to move. My question is the stuff that borders the highway, and with a click of a mouse, is there any way you can get rid of all those houses bordering 27, what do you call that number?
1796.
Is there any way you can get rid of that? My brain is rolled out and is reconfiguring that, because that is, to me, a safety hazard. It is to have, look like 24 lots come out on that state highway. It's not good.
So is this a?
That's all I'm asking. Can you just reconfigure to help with that Colorado? That's a piece of the pie. And like I say, on the other piece of the pie, people buying 100 acres, if they won't go in there and start selling that lot to somebody else, they're gonna have to come back to Commissioner Court. I myself will kill it.
Even if they sell the original property line of each.
Exactly. They have to, if they buy 100 acres and come out and want to split it out, other than a family member. If they want to sell it out to somebody else across the other side of this room here, they gotta come back to Commissioner Court, and that would be a subdivision. Am I right or wrong? You're the subdivision guru.
They'd have, if they're trying to break up a platted lot, they'd have to come back for a replat.
Exactly.
Even if it's a family member.
And I myself would kill that.
So say they buy 5 lots, and one lot's 10.2, one lot's 40 acres, one lot's 30 acres.
I'm 100% with you.
And so on. And they go, okay, well, this 10.2 acre lot that I bought in all my lots, I want to get rid of it, I want to sell it. Because it's the original 10.2 acres.
Unless it goes back to a family member, that's in our rules, it has to come back to Commissioner Court. Any lot that is split into 2 or more lots is now a subdivision. So now you got a subdivision side of a subdivision. That's not gonna happen.
I'm not sure that's what he's asking. So you're saying somebody buys 40 acres?
Yep, and wants to sell 10.
If they don't ever vacate and replat it to be a single lot, it's still 4 separate tracts of land.
It's 4 separate tracts of land, and if they decide, well, I only want 3
If they want to sell one of those
They will
tracts of
sell
land, I
one
think
of
they
those
could
tracts
probably
back.
sell it, because it's never become.
But then it's redivided.
If they buy 4 platted lots.
He can put that in his rules on your rules and regulations.
If
To
somebody.
keep that from happening.
If somebody buys 4 lots, typically what they're gonna do is they're gonna replat them into 1.
Okay, Ken, you make them do that. You can do anything you want.
We can't make them replat it into 1, but that's typically what they wanna do.
You're the owner of the land.
Typically-
You can set the variances.
So historically, with some of Ridge and Canyon Creek, when they did that, they came back, took those 3 lots, combined them into 1.
Into 1.
For tax purposes. They had one big chunk versus 3 separate. So then, if they decide they wanna come back and say, hey, I wanna carve out 10 acres, they divide it, so they have to come back. But as long as, if they keep them individual lots, and they decide, well, I don't want this 10 acre
They can sell it,
lot,
they can sell it.
they can sell that out. But if they're gonna replat it and they wanna come back and replat it to get rid of some, it has to come back. Then that's a subdivision inside subdivision, which is a no-go.
And on another note, you were saying that they were going to come in and start selling cheaper. I have followed their subdivisions, and I'm sure they'll give you a tour anytime you want to. These things are $1 million and up. They're not gonna let no trash come in. It's not gonna happen. They are, by far, and like I say, I have never represented him on a subdivision. But I go through every subdivision they got, a lot, and they are top notch. Other than having some water issues, if they can get down, say where they're only gonna water 5,000 square feet, that's a start. But like I said, 60% of the water comes out of the ground, goes on them yards. You put 100 gallons out, 60 gallons is going on their yard, which is.
Who's gonna go out there and enforce the 5,000 square feet?
Property owners.
Out of the HOAs. They're ridiculous.
In order, the first thing you do when you're gonna build a house here is you turn in your plans, including your landscaping plan, to the ACC, the Architectural Control Committee, and the POA. And if you've got something that doesn't fit the rules, it gets kicked back. It doesn't get allowed.
Okay, so who's gonna stop them from watering 6-8 hours during the night when it's dark?
If they want to go out there and irrigate 5,000 square feet for 6-8 hours at night when it's dark, they can't, unless the Edwards Aquifer Authority has any restrictions on that, then they're the ones that regulate.
We gotta realize, all these people be drilling wells too, so they're gonna have the same issue that everybody else has.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, it's just.
That's not comforting. When we all run out of water, we run out of water.
I agree with you 100%, but like I say, the commissioner here, we are dealing with state law. He don't even have to go out and get this other water test. He has agreed to it. He has made the motion to do that. By law, if we don't approve this today, 30 days he can start pushing dirt.
He's already been pushing dirt.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants to with it. It's his property. And sell a lot. All this does here is gives him the ability to sell a lot and take it over here and get a record to the court to where they have a deed on it, and the bank take over from the record.
A lot of these states and counties that are passing laws for these developers where they have to prove you have 75 to 100 years worth of water in here, and you have to put some kind of reclamation deal and recycling plants in, and you have to do all this other stuff. So if you guys don't have any rules and regulations in place, maybe it just as a suggestion, you might want to start passing some for future developers. Not that you can stop him now or make him follow any that you pass now, but any future developments, at least then you would have some control over the situation instead of being behind the scenes and trying to catch up. So.
Yeah, okay, my answer to that is what I just passed in court a while ago with this other subdivision for half-acre lots. To run recycled water to a half-acre lot cost each one of those houses about $85,000, and that's running 210 feet. It would be financially impossible for him to run a total reclamation on 2,800 acres. Be impossible.
Right now,
without a pump on every other hill.
Right now, you just have 500 acres, and he says a high-end subdivision, so you're gonna have high-end people buying it who have the money.
But what would stop somebody from going and saying, okay, we need to just put a rainwater catch system on every house that's built?
But like I said, what we're doing, we're following state law.
Well, that would
And he
be
made
up to him to put that in his.
Because a rainwater catch system made $85,000.
Well, so that'd be, I mean, is that something you can do?
They are allowed.
Well, I mean, is that something you can make mandatory?
They're allowed, but it's not in the rules.
No, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory.
I don't know, my end of Medina County, I ain't had 500 gallons in a year and a half.
Well,
Run
I
off the
mean,
roof.
yeah, you're not, depending on what kind of rain we have, but still, it's, you get 500 gallons off the rain, that's 500 gallons you can pull out of the water that I can keep giving my cows, so that way I can sell them, they can go into HEB so you can have steaks.
We don't get some rain next 30 days, HEB gonna see a bunch of mine. But like I said, the commissioner is following state law, what is presented to us.
Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion. I don't remember if we had a second or not.
I'll second
What's the motion, I'm sorry?
it. Dave?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of this preliminary approval with the pending approval from Westwood, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dan. Item number 18, and thank you all for your comments. Item number 18, discuss and take possible action on approval of amendment to AIR agreement with Corisoft Pretrial Services. Ms. Hasty.
This is just a real quick thing. It's just an amendment to something the court already passed with Corsoft, who handles all of our GPS for pretrial services, the ankle monitors, and they also do what we call pretrial in a box. It's an app that Corsoft does so our defendants can check in via an app on their phones. So they now offer an additional service that we can utilize and that I'd like to utilize for our office, and it's a breathalyzer. That it's a mobile breathalyzer. So we obviously use an interlock device in a vehicle if somebody is ordered to have an ignition interlock for, you know, a DWI case of some sort. So it locks the vehicle if they've been drinking. So in addition to that, if somebody doesn't have a vehicle, we have to have some kind of device to test them for alcohol. So we have other mobile devices that we use through other companies, but they're very large and unsafe in some circumstances. So this device, one, is much cheaper for the defendants. This agreement costs the county absolutely nothing. It's actually cheaper for the defendant to use. The device is smaller than my cell phone. So our defendants, a lot of them actually work in the oil field. And so when they crawl up in the derricks and the device goes off, it's very loud. It'll also vibrate. They have to pull this big mobile device out of their pocket and try to blow in it. And they'll be up in a derrick, for instance, and try to blow in it. It's a little dangerous. So now this new device that I'm asking the court to approve for us to use is smaller than my cell phone. It'll do the same thing. They don't have to charge it every day. The battery life is 6 months. They don't have to take it anywhere. They don't have to go anywhere specialized to have it calibrated like the other devices they did. And they pull it out and they can breathe in it. Again, it's smaller than this device. It's cheaper. And I would like the court to approve for us to be able to use this device, and that's all the amendments for it.
Well, she never got caught to begin with.
I agree.
It's their problem now.
Tell the judges to not order it then.
And it's free?
It's free to us. We don't have to pay anything, and it's cheaper for the defendants.
They get food.
So, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amendment to the AIR agreement.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Darcy. Item 19, discuss and take possible action on ratifying approval of memorandum of understanding with the Office of the Attorney General of Texas, OAG contract C00564001. Gilbert, can you address this,
You
please?
can just see me.
Yes, sir. The Attorney General's office has contacted our office requesting an investigator, excuse me, for exploited and sexual abused children on the internet. The sheriff has offered to assist them. We've assigned one investigator, so we had to enter into an interlocal agreement. They will provide equipment. We have to pay it up front, but then we get reimbursed for it. We are utilizing one of our newest laptops just for that. It's not tied into the county system. It's all standalone for it. Since we started our communications with the Attorney General's office, we've already picked up a couple of cases.
And this is free too?
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion.
My understanding is that Judge Shuhart signed this MOU about 3 weeks ago, so we're ratifying
That's good.
what he signed. So, and I'll second your motion.
We like free.
So, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Gilbert. Item number 20, discuss and take possible action on declaring items from the following office as surplus and or salvage and authorized disposal.
Yes, we have two computers, one from the tax office and another one from JP4. Just need y'all's approval to get rid of it.
We declared items as surplus and or salvage.
Second.
Get rid of it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 21, discuss and take possible action on approval of change orders and other matters regarding the construction of the courthouse annex and jail. You know, I remember discussing this with Keith, and I don't remember what it was. Jennifer, do you remember what this is from Gary?
I'm not familiar with that first document. I thought it was just a change order to move some contingency amounts from the courthouse to the betterment value of the jail. But that first one looks like an actual expense that I'm not familiar with.
I think this was work that our architect did to something out at the jail. I apologize, I don't remember what it was because it's not laid out here.
Looks like it's a total of $166,000 worth?
No, it's $4,927, this front page.
That's for the annex.
Oh, is it for the annex?
I'm looking to see.
Oh, that's right. It had to do with our parking lot out here. The additional work that the architects did to either look at the data or do some testing on the parking lot that we're looking to get redone.
So they're gonna take that out of our contingency.
When it was their mess up.
Huh?
Correct.
When it was their mess up.
Exactly, yeah, that don't even make no sense.
So we gotta pay them to figure it out.
No, I'd say we need to have a discussion over that.
I'm waiting on a call from Gary. I can talk to him about it and see what's going
Yeah,
on.
they screwed up the parking lot, and they want to take it out of our money to pay for it? No.
Well, I think the company that did the parking lot, the contractor's gonna redo it. However, the architect that we have hired did some work to help us get us to the position where the contractor would redo it, and they're wanting paid for their portion of what they did, is my understanding. And that may not be a great explanation, but maybe Gary can clear that up for us.
I can ask Gary.
Yeah.
I think we take it and we get it.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
this thing here needs a little bit more argument about before I give somebody $166,000.
No,
For a parking
$4,900.
lot that we've turned down.
$4,900 to the architect only.
Okay.
Even them, the architects and everybody hired these people to do the parking lot. They screwed it up, so they should pay for it. Don't pay.
Exactly.
We will table number 21. Get clarification from Gary. Item number 22, discuss and take possible action on authorization to advertise public hearing to reduce speed limit on County Road 640. That is in precinct 3, so I make a motion that we authorize to advertise for the public hearing.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 23, discuss and take possible action on acceptance of newly assigned private road 6740, also located in precinct 3, into the official mapping system. I make a motion that we accept private road 6740 into the official mapping system.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discuss and take possible action on subdivision rules and regulations regarding Article 13 revision and cancellation.
Okay, so what this has to do with, over the longest time, when a landowner wants to replat their lot, by law, it has to be advertised and everything. Well, in the last 2 years, I spent $3,000 for advertising for somebody else to replat their lot. I'm not the one that wants them to replat their lot, so I feel like I don't see why the county should have to pay for that. So, my recommendation is the landowner needs to pay for his own advertisement to do this.
I agree.
But going back and forth, looking at different rules and some laws, I'm gonna reach out to Bob Bass from TAC to get his legal opinion, whether this is, we can do this.
Yeah.
But Just the other day, I signed 5 of them, $350. So that $350, I could take and buy a load of base or 2 loads of base to put on the road, versus taking it out of the budget to pay for somebody else's issue. Like I said, they're the ones that want to replat it. It don't matter to me one way or the other, but I don't want to pay for your expense.
Agree.
So that's what this is about. So after I get a legal opinion from Bob Bass, we'll move forward on this.
Who's that again?
Huh?
Who's that gentleman?
Bob Bass from
Texas
County
Association.
TAP. TAP. From Allison and Bass.
So, in our subdivision regulations, we cite local government code 232.009 as our authority and the regulation that we have to follow to make these notices. If you look at that section in the local government code, it starts out that it only applies to counties with a population of 1.5 million or more, which we obviously don't fall under. So there's a good chance that even though we're doing that within the county, we're probably not required to do that, the legal notices.
Exactly.
So that's something we need to look into and find out.
Exactly.
And Mr. Bass would be a good resource.
Yes.
So.
And Maggie, if you want to interpret it, and
I can take a look as well. It's the first I've heard of it.
Okay.
Commissioner Lynch, what was that code section?
Yeah,
I'll give you mine.
232.009. So we're going to table number 24 at this point and see what we come up with legal-wise. Okay. Number 25, court member announcements.
yeah, we are finishing up our last leg of Cemetery Road project. We should have it paved by Thursday. So that whole stretch will be 26 foot wide from one end to the other. Should be a whole lot more safer for the public. Trucks do use this road to cut across. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but then we got several other projects we're moving on. Paving crew is busy, anxious to keep going. I think they like their privacy of their 4 little group, but everything's moving great in precinct 1.
Okay, precinct 2, we are paving tomorrow, you said?
Wednesday the 18th. And
I have 1 more mile of gravel road in precinct 2. Paved. 1 more mile. That made 89 miles we have paved in the last 6 years since I got my nickel tax for road tax that passed. And I'm glad a lot of y'all were here today in the newspaper, both of them. We heard a lot of discussion about rules and regulations. The only thing the Commissioners Court can do is pass the laws that were handed down by the state of Texas to us. We didn't make all these rules and regulations. We do come in with some people if they want a different subdivision and work with them. We can do that by law. But that's why we got a commissioner in school, that's why we have a judge here in school, and that's why we make all the schooling we can. If you don't make schooling, you don't belong up here. You sit up here, you don't know everything. Things change a lot. And what really changed us, the 86th legislature session, changed the law in subdivision rules and regulations, where Debbie comes up here and she hands us a set of plans. We got 30 days to tell you yay or nay. If you say nay, you better have a damn good reason. Either you're gonna get sued or that developer can rot out and start selling lots. That's state law. So I thank Mr. Mullins by even sitting here and going through what he's going through. I feel you have done more and above. The people over here, I can understand their issues, because they do have some issues up there in that area. But when this thing comes to an end, I got a feeling we're gonna have another fantastic subdivision that Mr. Mullins is reputable of putting in. He has put in no trash, and I thank you for that. But other than that, I couldn't wait to get back to Commissioner Court. I said, well, you have Commissioner Court, I wish it was last week. I miss this damn place, I really did. But anyhow, yeah, I'm here for another 4 years. How much longer it's gonna go on that, I don't know yet. But I'll here for another 4 years, and I'm gonna back every new elected official 110% to keep this county moving forward. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Tim, first of all, for his work and help on Cemetery Road, or not his help, allowing me to help him do my portion of Cemetery Road coming into Hondo. And also for both of y'all for throwing in your input on the subdivision issues. So other than that, Precinct 3 is doing great. So anybody else with that?
One question. We need to have on agenda, I think somebody brought it up yesterday, about a commissioner's court in February.
That's true. And thank you for reminding me of that.
That'll be on the next agenda.
Will it? Do we have any ideas? Because I'd like to.
Will you have that on the next agenda, Otto?
Can we get kind of a consensus without making it official? Because we're going to be gone on the 23rd.
To school, we're going to school.
Of February. Yeah, everybody will be gone. So we don't have a commissioner's court scheduled the week before that or the week after that. And typically we kind of move it to one of those Thursdays.
Either one fine.
Y'all have a preference, either direction?
Why don't we do it the week after that, where we tell everybody what we learned?
There you go.
Okay. So that would be the 2nd?
If you don't learn something every time you go to one, it's your own fault.
Possible, I'm gonna write down possible, and if you put it on the next agenda.
Even if you're on the investment committee, if you don't learn something, you missed out something.
Okay, thank you for that reminder, Larry. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you all so much for coming.